Chilling surveillance video.
Dragging a young woman.
November 20th, 2015. New Orleans, Louisiana, 4 a.m. A surveillance camera captures a woman stumbling down Mary Street. Seconds later, the scene turns to horror.
What you see is this guy dragging this woman down the block, potentially to be sexually assaulted and raped.
He's trying to force the woman into a car. But at that very moment, a man crossing through the intersection on Margaret Street just happens to see what's going on.
He stops, backs up, turns down the street where this man is dragging this woman. He gets out of his car, trying to help this woman out.
That's when things get really scary.
He's pleading with this guy to leave her alone, and then you're just horrified.
Suddenly, the hooded assailant pulls out a semi-automatic gun, turning it on the Good Samaritan. The commotion wakes local residents.
I heard a guy yelling outside, I don't have any more money.
This whole scenario was fraught with danger.
Then, things take a chilling turn.
The guy shot him in the stomach.
Shots have been fired, and the man who jumped in to help a complete stranger is on the ground. But the gunman isn't done with him.
I saw him try to execute him.
Now this guy tries to shoot him point blank in the head multiple times.
It's difficult to watch, but incredibly, the gun jams repeatedly.
Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
As witnesses frantically dial 911.
Got witnesses stating that they heard a pop. Gentleman shot one time in the stomach.
The gunman gives up and flees the scene in this SUV. The woman who he violently dragged down the street appears to be in a state of complete shock. Police respond quickly, rushing both her and the man who tried to save her to the hospital. It turns out the man who's been shot is 25-year-old aspiring doctor Peter Gold, a 4th-year medical student at Tulane University, and he's instantly hailed as a hero.
The medical student who took a bullet to save a stranger.
He could have just kept driving. He could have just called the police and hoped for the best. But he chose to try to help someone who he doesn't even know.
What's more, while the woman is treated for minor injuries and released, Peter is now battling for his life.
The shocking thing to see when you have a friend who's so healthy, just like that, he's in a terrible state. He was rushed into surgery, and we really weren't sure what was going to happen next.
When Peter's loved ones see the shocking surveillance video of his vicious attack, they are furious.
My heart was beating in my ears and in my eyes, and just seeing red, and just like, oh my God. Like this, just watched my friend get murdered right in front of me.
The woman Peter tried to save is traumatized and asks for privacy as she recovers. The video of Peter risking his own life to try and save her instantly goes viral.
Vicious shooting.
Shooting of a Good Samaritan.
Shot in the stomach.
And everything about this brazen attack angers the city of New Orleans, setting off a massive manhunt.
An intensive search this morning for the gunman.
It is clear that this is a dangerous individual who doesn't value the lives of others. Someone knows who he is. Someone knows where he is hiding.
On November 21st, one day after Peter is shot, detectives find the SUV his attacker fled in and learn that it was driven by 21-year-old Uric Kane, who has a history of theft and firearms charges.
He is no stranger to law enforcement.
We know who you are, and you need to know that we are going to find you.
But that same day, Kane violently attacks 2 other people in New Orleans.
Kane used a handgun to carjack and then abduct a 41-year-old female and 54-year-old male. And this is where he raped both of them.
During this sexual assault of this male and female couple, he tells them that his nickname is Murder, and then threatens them that if they go to the police, that he will kill them.
Police launch a tireless effort to find the man responsible.
You cannot hide. You cannot run. We are going to catch you.
3 days later, on November 23rd, 2015, they finally find Uric Kane. hiding out at his girlfriend's home.
He's arrested without further incident and has given our detectives a full confession.
The announcement comes on the heels of an emotional moment in Peter's hospital room.
The doctors had told my parents that there was not a very high chance that I was going to survive. 2 days after surgery, I woke up and my friends and my family were all sitting around my bed in the ICU.
We thought we had lost you. We thought you were dead, all of us.
Peter's loved ones are incredibly relieved he has pulled through, and they are in awe of his actions.
He's always been one to fight for what he believes in. It was an immense moment of courage.
For Peter, it all began as a routine night after a late shift at the hospital.
I was on the phone with my mom while I was driving home from work. Just a quick end of the day catch up. And I told her, hold on 1 second, something's not right.
It was a fleeting moment of chance. What if Peter had been looking the other way as he drove through that intersection? But it only takes one glance to know that he has to do something.
I saw a man dragging a girl down the middle of the road in a chokehold, and I couldn't drive away. You're the only person there.
But from the moment Peter steps out of his car, the situation is frightening.
I started yelling at him, telling him to get off this girl, leave her alone, what are you doing? He immediately dropped her and was turned from him attacking her to him attacking me.
That's when Cain demands money.
I didn't have any cash or anything to give him. I offered him my phone. I said, you know, take this. And at that point, he just said, forget it. I'm going to kill you. And he shot me point blank in the stomach.
Wounded and bleeding, Peter won't learn until later that Cain was pointing the gun right at his head, repeatedly trying to fire again.
Realizing that part was pretty chilling. After he shot me, I fell to the ground. My back was actually to him. So the only thing I had in my head was to crawl over to my cell phone that had fallen on the ground to call my family.
Peter also has no idea that his mom never hung up. She heard everything.
This whole entire time she was on the phone. She heard the man robbing me. You know, she heard the gunshot go off. It was very, very traumatizing.
While he's recovering, Peter gets a letter from the woman he was trying to protect.
She thanked me for saving her life. She thanked me for doing the right thing when nobody was looking.
And on October 31st, 2016, Uric Cain is sentenced to 54 years behind bars for Peter's shooting and for kidnapping and raping a couple the next day. In a statement, Peter says the ordeal has left him in disbelief, saying he's lucky to be alive, and there is no reason for this terror.
How could somebody act so violently? It's very easy to say, oh, that person's crazy, but we're also part of the problem. I had to get shot in the stomach to really put myself into someone else's shoes and realize that society has failed somebody like him.
Vowing to do something about it, Peter, along with the friends who kept vigil at his bedside, start a foundation called Strong City, which partners with organizations that help at-risk youth.
Our goal is working at the root of the problem, trying to give mentorship and guidance, opportunity to kids so that eventually they don't turn into 20-year-olds that want to act violently.
It's about let's not wait until something terrible happens. It was really an awakening for Peter. It was a reset for him. He was going to use this experience to try to do something positive. What really stuck with me was that he really didn't understand the amount of pain or the anger or what must have happened in someone's life to put them in a situation where someone would do what happened to Peter, and to wrap his head around like what must have gone so terribly wrong in this young person's life that they would have done something like this that would have endangered his life and the life of the woman in the video. It felt to me like Peter shared almost this moment where there was a level of gratitude for this awakening. that now he had a responsibility and was committed to improving the city of New Orleans by investing in the future of young people. And I think it was really eye-opening to him, one, about the fragility of life, and two, about the inequities that exist.
Peter, who is now an orthopedic surgeon, still downplays what he did that night.
I don't feel like a hero, no. I think of it as being in the wrong place at the right time, but I'm happy that I was able to be there at the exact time that he was dragging her down the street. If I would have been 5 seconds later, so the way that all of this comes together is crazy. I think it was complete instinct. You know, I'm the kind of person that always tries to help out, and I think it's that natural instinct I had within me. When I saw something bad going on, my first reaction was action. You know, it's 3 in the morning, you see something wrong, you know, what are you going to do? Are you going to live the rest of your life having driven away and say, oh, I remember I was a witness to this horrific thing happen? Or in the moment, are you going to step up and realize that the only person that can help is you? And I'm just very lucky and very grateful to come out on the other side, you know, unscathed and in some ways stronger than I was before.
But to everyone else, there's no question that what Dr. Peter Gold did that night is definitely heroic.
And he should have been probably killed on that night.
I mean, that's pretty heroic to me.
He really hasn't been angry about it the entire time. And he could have been. And for you to pull through and be the same Pete that you are is pretty miraculous.